Hi, I hope you're in high spirits, because I am, as today I finally completed all my Teen Wolf series stuff, about which I've been planning to tell you for so long. That's why I hastened to share it with you. We'll start with the easiest part, the notebooks. I love this kind of notebooks with bright yellow pages and plain covers. Not only Moleskine produce them. For the decor, I printed these stencils. The images you can also find using the link in the description below. In fact, you can write these words by hand, but I really love this font, so I want to copy it. So I cut out the stencil and attach it to the notebook and make a contour using a pen without inks. Look how distinctly the letter is seen. Thus, we get an accurate replica of perfect letters, and now we can color them. I take brown acrylic paint for this. And leave it till it's dry, and now move on to the second notebook. I use the same technique, but color it using a marker instead of the paint. But the words I decided to write by hand. The next step is the pendant, for the decor of which I've decided to use style sprays. I usually make all my pictures for resin using a printer, but now it only prints using blue color. And this is one of the points to make even more art, because you can color using your paints. First, we make the background. And then highlight the letters. Glue it to the base of the pendant, and then we have two variants. You can buy this lens with all the other accessories and just glue it on. But I prefer the second variant, to fill it with epoxy resin. This time, I overheated the resin on purpose to make lots of tiny bubbles. In my understanding, this represents these transient, sarcastic self-defense of styles, which is not visible from a distance. What a Lollapalooza I've just said. There is probably one more integral attribute of all this series and films connected to something supernatural and mysterious. I'm speaking about bottles with different fillings, like the one Deaton had. For Wolf Aconite, I took these crystals from IKEA. But actually, you can fill anything into the bottle. These are that glitter, glowing powder, petals of dried flowers. Well, anything small enough which you can find in your house and give it a name and special meaning can be 100% filled. I also brought home a branch of rowan and cut it into the bottle. To make pretty labels, I colored some paper using instant coffee. Apply the inscription and glue the paper. And on the bottle with what not, the meaning of ingredients of which I still haven't come up with, but it doesn't matter, I put an accessory in the shape of the Celtic knot and made a pendant out of it. I also decided to fill in this base for a ring. I drew a Triskelion using my acrylic paint and also filled in using different things. Glue the base and wait till it's dry. To protect the paint, I made a layer of resin on it. Next is going to be the thing which anybody can make, a phone case of any model you have. You will need for this your favorite printed pictures. This time I made a printing in the copy department because my printer used only blue somehow. And also, you should find some transparent phone cases, matte, silicone, with glitter, whatever you like. Cut out the picture according to the size. You can make a contour using your case. Make it smaller a bit if you need. And put it in. I'm obsessed with the way in which I've realized the next idea. A hoodie with printed self-adhesive stencils and paint. Cut off the stencils, take a paint for fabric, apply it on and wait for it to be dry. And voila! The most important and complicated thing is to apply the stencil evenly to avoid it being crooked. To create a lamp, we will need cotton, paint, glue, lights and foil. First, I wanted to make it in the form of a Triskelion, and actually I did it that way, but during the process of work I realized that it would be much cooler if I'd made it in the form of Alpha Wolfpack, because it will hang on the wall, and they usually drew it where they were present, and secondly, the form is much simpler. For the form, you can print a stencil, but I made it by hand. First we draw an equilateral triangle. For the bases, I take 30 centimeters. As my compass wasn't long enough for 30 centimeters, I made a small equilateral triangle and took his angle as a basis. I loved geometry at school. Then we find the center of the triangle by several perpendiculars. And using a round box, we draw the circles at the corners. On one of them, we draw a spiral. Transfer it on the paper and use as a stencil for the other angles. Hooray! Now we cut everything out. Using this stencil, the second detail should be made. That part which is going to be above, we paint in any color. I've chosen brown. And both parts need foil covering from the inside. Be very attentive to make it reflect the light even more. On the bottom part, we attach the lights one by one using tape. And in the end, we just have to stick two parts of the lamp together. At first I planned to attach the parts of the lamp in a completely different way, but it turned out that I put some tape on the outer part, making it messy. That's why if you attach them using tape, it's better to do it in the other way. Don't paint the outer part, use your tape instead, and cut out the same form of a triskelion of sheet of brown paper, just paper, and glue it on the pieces of tape, so that you will have an ideal neat surface. And when you're done, you can make your manicure. You will need 2 nail polishes and tape. First, we cover nails with polish of your skin tone, I did it in advance. Then we put strips of tape on a nail like this and make a good layer of black polish. Next, we apply the second layer and take off the tape, cleaning the mess if you have any, and you may add a top layer with a transparent polish. That is how you can turn a plain geometrical manicure into the claws of a werewolf just by changing colors. I hope you liked this video. Write in the comments what you liked the most. If you have any questions, ask them. If you have any suggestions, write them. And I love you this much. Bye.